Food We Love with Linda Yu is presented by Arun's Thai Restaurant.
I grew up watching my mom cook, and it always brought people together. I started working at restaurants as soon as I could, at 15 and a half.
All right, Drew, I got some pie and biscuits for you.
I went to college in St. Louis. Paid some bills, but more importantly had fun and got some experience. Did you care for anything to drink? Coffee as well? Yeah. Then as soon as I graduated, I moved to New York to work for Danny Meyer at Gramercy Tavern.
All the pies are on the right-hand side. We have sweet and savory.
I parlayed my fine dining experience into a hotel and restaurant critic for Forbes Travel Guide.
The buttermilk with blueberry sage coulis has been super popular.
And that afforded me the opportunity to really travel around the world, dining at some really fantastic restaurants. But it was during the downtime that I'd search out the more neighborhood spots. I always wanted to open my own restaurant. Yeah, since as long as I could remember. I knew the idea, but I didn't necessarily have a focus for it's going to be this type of restaurant.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't coin this term, but it's the third place. People spend so much time at work and at home.
This is blueberry peach, and that's potato chive.
We wanted to be, an alternative to those two places where you could feel comfortable and come on a regular basis and fill a void in your life, whether it's, a place that you just need to sit for a few minutes and catch up on email or make a call or have a hot cup of coffee, or to celebrate one of life's, great moments. It's really easy to make people happy when they're coming in to eat pie for breakfast.
Easy peasy strawberry-rhubarb crisp.
Just rolls off the tongue.
It sure does. And going through this, it is easy.
It is extremely easy. All the ingredients that you see here are ones that, even a poorly stocked pantry would have at home.
Okay, before we go any further though, I have to say, this is the most beautiful that this kitchen has ever looked, because look at, these are natural colors.
Indeed.
And if you've tasted this, it looks like, some people might look at that and say, okay, that's just this little tiny strawberry and it couldn't be, it's probably not sweet yet, and,
right,
and all this stuff. Oh, really good.
No, but it is. Because of its small size, the flavor is really intensified.
It really is.
And you can only get them, essentially one time a year.
During this time of year, and these all come from the Lincoln Square Farmers Market. And it comes right from the farm quickly, so we haven't spent days losing some of the flavors.
This type of fruit, it's so fresh that it doesn't have that long of a shelf life.
So let's hurry up and cook it.
Yes,
okay?
indeed.
Yeah, so what do we start with?
Sure, we're going to make a strawberry-rhubarb crisp, as you said. Right. So the first thing would be to source the fruit.
These.
And while it is spring, we are featuring strawberry-rhubarb, but this can really be applied to any fruit that you choose. Come August, blackberry peach is my personal favorite.
Right. You can mix almost any kind of fruit that you think goes together, or experiment.
Yeah.
Now, what we do is we take the little strawberries.
Yeah,
right?
So it's called hulling, but essentially you're just removing the stems.
Just the stems.
Because these strawberries are so beautiful in the way they should be, you don't really need to do anything else. If you didn't have access to these gorgeous strawberries,
right,
and you got just conventional strawberries at the grocery store, Driscoll or whatever brand they may have,
right,
you'll notice that they are quite a bit bigger.
Yeah.
So you'll probably want to half or quarter those. So that's easy.
So enough of these to fill about a dish this size.
Yeah,
okay.
we called it, the recipe, what you'll be able to see online, calls for a pound, but for all intents and purposes, it's about a quart. You can see the size of the bowl here, it's like a large cereal bowl, but it's really as much or as a little bit as you want. We're going to do a relatively close amount of 1-to-1.
Okay.
But if you favored rhubarb, or you had more rhubarb than strawberries, you can do all rhubarb, you can do all strawberry. The beautiful thing about the rhubarb, it's a little more tart,
Right.
You can add enough sugar to make it on its own. We feature a rhubarb pie on the menu right now that's straight rhubarb, and a lot of traditionalists really want that. But the general expectation is that rhubarb is mixed with strawberries.
With strawberries, and so that it won't be as
So it won't be as
sour,
astringent
right?
and as sour, and you have to use less sugar to make it really, really delicious.
Now,
so
what
rhubarb
do we put it with?
Comes in, it looks like this. It's grows as a stalk. You would trim it, trim off the tops, trim off the bottoms.
So trim off this part.
Yeah, just the parts that look, a little bit less than savory.
And
it is real food, so it's going to have
end,
some blemishes.
all the way down to here,
Yep.
you could cut off, even though there's some green.
Even though there's some green. That's going to be a little bit more tart and astringent, if you will.
The
but,
greener part.
Yeah, but I
Okay.
think that'll add a little balance to the dish because you don't
Okay.
want it to be too sweet.
Yeah.
But it's all edible up to that. And, you know, you can kind of treat it if you've cooked celery, you know, if you for
Sure.
Thanksgiving or
Right.
a soup or
Right.
something. It's almost like pink celery, not in flavor, but, you know,
Yeah.
so celery you have to lop off the head, you have to lop it off, and then you can just
Right.
dice it in little half moons.
And then, so we want to do this and make it about the same size, the same bite size.
Essentially. And this can come in all different widths. And,
it does,
You know,
right.
there's some really fat pieces, and if you had that, you
You
would
just
want
sort of split it just like you would with celery.
Exactly.
Okay, all right, now, let's put it together.
So yeah, so this is where the
Okay.
easy peasy part comes in. You get a mixing bowl of your choosing.
Okay,
You want to put the rhubarb in there?
all right, I will. We've got all this rhubarb. Got it. Okay.
Okay. Let's put the
Put
strawberries.
all the strawberries in. Yum.
I would use my hands if you want to use a spoon, just kind of like combine it a little bit.
And just get it all mixed together.
Yeah, I really like to get in there and feel it, but that's like equally, and that's good. You just have to mix it just a
Mix
little
it
bit.
enough. Okay. Got it.
And essentially we have like 3 to 4 ingredients. You can just
Okay,
leave it
I'm
there.
gonna. All right.
So we have sugar, which I've already spoken of. You know, the strawberries are naturally sweet. The rhubarb is not, so the sugar is just going to provide a little more balance and bring down the tartness of the
So
rhubarb.
how much sugar goes in?
This is a cup and a quarter. It's already pre-measured.
Whole thing?
Whole thing.
Whole thing. Okay.
You know, before you start cooking, you want to taste the strawberries, and you know, if they're conventional, you may need a little more sugar. If they happen to
Because
be
they're
like,
not as sweet as
they're not as
these that
sweet.
you get at the farmer's market.
That's exactly right.
Okay, so we got that.
And it also happens like because it's, you know, local food. We might have had like a really rainy spring, which in case the strawberries would be a little bit larger and more water filled, so they're not going to be as sweet.
So the amount of sugar then would be sort of based on if I do this and then I taste
Yeah, you
one
can
of
take
the
a
pieces
piece.
of rhubarb, right?
Already,
See,
it's going to be a lot more delicious.
it really made a difference, right? Okay, so get that mixed up.
Yep.
Okay.
Next ingredient, this is going to be cornstarch.
All of it?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
That's a quarter cup. And what that's going to do, that's going to provide
really
a thickener.
thickens.
Yeah, so, you know, I mean, this is really juicy strawberries. And then, I mean, the rhubarb has, you know, a natural water content. So that's going to release a lot of water when it's warm. It provides no taste profile.
No,
if
it just
if you did not
thickens.
have
Yeah.
cornstarch, it would still be really, really delicious tasting. But that'll be a little bit more firm.
And then,
So next thing is we're using freshly squeezed orange juice. You could just as easily use lime juice or lemon juice, but that really provides just a little citrus undertone. So we're just going to do 2 teaspoons.
oh, not too much.
Not too
right?
much, but just
Okay.
like a little kind of like a little something extra that when you taste it, you almost don't notice it, but it kind of
But
brightens
it's
the
there,
flavor.
right? It's really there. Okay, so mix that up.
Yep, and same thing with the vanilla. Use real vanilla, please. I know it's more expensive, but it really does make a difference.
Because you really taste
You
the
really
vanilla.
taste it.
Yeah.
I mean, it just is like, and then you can just kind of do. You know.
okay.
The recipe I gave you calls for 1 teaspoon. We're going to throw an extra in there because
Okay.
who doesn't love a
We put
little vanilla on there?
That's true, right? Okay, mix it all up.
And then the
once
last
we've
thing,
done that, yeah.
just a tiny little pinch of salt,
Okay.
just to kind of accentuate all those flavors to really, you know.
You know, you can eat it this way, right?
Yeah, over yogurt. You could just throw that in a pan and saute it and serve it over vanilla ice cream. So as you can see, that took us
Yeah.
what, 2 minutes?
Easy
Less than.
peasy, like you said. Okay, then.
So then you get the pan of your choosing. I like cast iron for its rusticity and its beauty because you can go straight from know
That.
the oven to the table and not have to worry about it.
Okay.
We're probably not going to put it all in, so just kind of use. I can help you.
Yeah,
here,
you get the
sorry.
spoon.
Yeah, so you just want to like
Enough to cover.
enough to cover, and it may all fit, but it will.
I think it
you know
might,
boil.
yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Let's do it all then.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Ooh. Yum.
And not to worry, you can see there's a little bit of sugar still in the bowl. There's a little bit of sugar here. It's all gonna meld together, and it's not a precise dessert, so it's gonna come together and be delicious regardless.
So that will go in the oven like that, or we've got to put
This
something
will
over
top.
it?
We're gonna do one that's super simple. It's flour, sugar, butter, and a little pinch of salt once
And
again.
that's it?
And that's it. So you take the dry ingredients,
Dry.
which in this case are the
Is the
flour, and
flour
the sugar,
and the sugar.
then a pinch of salt. You combine those,
And
then
then-
you work in the butter. You
Okay.
can do it with your hands. You can do it with a fork, is what I traditionally use. A lot of people don't have this, but this is a tool that's made specifically for
Really?
that. It's a pastry blender. So you kind of like, almost like you're mashing potatoes, you get down in there and work the chunks of butter, which should be as cold as possible, so they maintain their shape. and they're easier to slice into it. And at that point, you really want it to get like almost like coarse cornmeal. So I would, you know, yeah, put it on there.
Okay. And just like that, right?
Yeah.
And then
Know
do
that
you wanna
there's
make
about
sure-
3 inches, you know, of fruit filling, which is gonna, you know, sink down. So I would err on the side of having a little bit more crumble than you think you need, because I really
because
like the
it's going
crumble.
to go down right
Yeah.
there. Okay.
Having said that, if you wanted a little bit lighter and a little, you know, healthier, you could err on the side of just having the crumble be
Oh,
more of a
let's
garnish.
go for it.
All right, let's go for
Let's
it.
go for it, right?
And
Okay.
you go all the way to the
All the
edge,
way
and
out.
that'll be like the, you know, the really beautiful pieces because they'll get super caramelized.
And then just use it all up,
Sure.
huh? And get it all the way out here. I've never thought about baking because baking always seemed to me that it had to be very, very precise.
Sure.
But I like this because you call it easy peasy.
It is.
And it is.
It's like I said, you can.
Okay.
Most of the ingredients, if not all, you would have in your home pantry.
Yeah.
So whether you travel or whether you're entertaining at the last minute, and then the
Ta-da!
easy part is
Yeah.
just sourcing beautiful fruit.
Okay.
you
And
know.
that's it. You
And
put it
this
in
is
the oven for how long?
375 for about 45 minutes.
And that's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, let's show everybody the finished product.
You know, just get on in there. You kind of like
Yeah.
scoop.
Ooh. No, this is all mine, so I'm not going
All
to
right.
cut any of it.
Fair
right?
enough.
Kidding. Ooh,
How is it?
yummy.
Good.
It is really, really yummy. Oh, you can find the recipe for easy peasy strawberry rhubarb crisp on our website. It's suntimes.com, and you can enjoy this or later on in the season with any other kind of fruit. And
Yeah,
that'll-
peach blackberry,
yeah,
like I said, is one that comes together really beautifully and is extremely elegant later in the season.
and that'll be easy peasy as well too. Enjoy. We'll see you next time. For details on this recipe and more, go to suntimes.com.